Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm a little thirsty tonight, so I'm having a ginger beer. Barrett's. Ask for it by name. Anyway, so this is the first picture I think. No, there are some pictures that were not just of me, I think, but as you may have read, was my now ex-wife, but at the time wonderful wife, and she's always been wonderful. I got nothing bad to say about the woman. She's great. She's the mother of my kids, and we lasted 15 years, actually 19 total, really, if you take the whole relationship. So I almost made it to 20. Um, but tonight we'll cover years 94, 95, and 96. I was 27, 28, and 29 those years, and um, Dylan and I got married in '96, but these were big growth years for me. I had graduated college. Unfortunately, I only graduated with a BA in history, which doesn't get you anything. Um, some famous politician years ago said the vice presidency isn't worth a bucket of warm piss, and I've often felt the same about a history degree. I never finished my teaching certification, got halfway through, and I just couldn't go to school anymore. I've been doing it for 6 or 7 years, and I was just like, I can't. I'm done. And I found this wonderful woman, and we started living together. As I mentioned last night, we started living together in 1993, right when I got back from Europe. In '94, I believe we moved to a new apartment, which was nice. It might have even been '93, but uh, it was a house divided up into apartments. It was a nice place to live, and then we found another duplex. And then in 1996, right as we were getting married, we moved to Cleveland. But I'll talk about Cleveland tomorrow night. And Dante was born there in '98, but for now it's these years: '94, '95, '96. Transition for me. This was like we went from club parties, going to dance clubs to going to parties in people's homes. We're growing up. We're getting in our late 20s. We have some friends that are even in their 30s, and everyone's starting to couple up. Some people have kids, and we're just going and we're just growing up. That's what's happening. It's no more fun. It's no longer fun to party till you puke. At least very rarely. So, oh, by the way, can I get some more light, Logan? Can you do me a big favor? I'm really sorry. Just turn on Dante's light. I'm sorry. I don't know if it matters if I'm well lit or not, but I'm trying to be consistent sometimes. There we go. I'm sure that helps. I mean, who doesn't want to miss this beautiful mug? Looks like Picasso got in a boxing match. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, so back to '94, '95. Seinfeld was very popular. We actually had Seinfeld parties at our friends' houses. We'd go and actually have a few drinks, maybe some hors d'oeuvres, watch Seinfeld, and then go back to the drinks and the hors d'oeuvres. That's how amazingly popular Seinfeld was back then. You could actually plan a party on Thursday night around Seinfeld. Um, and Dylan and I just bonded really well. When it looked like I was going to get married, I was the first out of my close knit friends group to get married, and they asked, like, "Why are you marrying her?" And I was like, "Because she's the sweetest, smartest person I've ever been with," and she's really still pretty much that. She's really a super. She's got a lot. She's just got great qualities, and I was lucky to be with her for as long as I was. I'm lucky, really lucky. She's the mother of my kids, because thank God that my DNA got tempered by hers. Thank God that this got diluted by 50% by her brilliance and her amazingness. Anyway, I know I'm bragging out on her a lot, but she just is. She's a great person. Yeah, so '94, '95, '96, we were getting to know each other. We took a trip to the Grand Canyon. I guess that's noteworthy. That was kind of cool. We take little trips. She liked to camp a lot, which was cool, and I liked to too. She taught me how to make a fire in the wild, which was sad that I didn't know that. I mean, a lot of guys, it's like, "Give me some lighter fluid." She's like, "How about you learn with just one match to do a fire?" And she taught me how to do that. She built it. She was, I think, a Girl Scout, and she was a camp counselor, so she knew all that stuff. And we liked to rough it. When we went camping, it was just a tent and us and some food, and that was a lot of fun. And good bonding experience. Good way to get us to know each other. We still did a lot of dancing. We had a lot of fun with that, so we did still get out. But these were the years when we just got to know each other. Trying to think of other things we did. The Halloween parties were kind of fun. I was Kramer one year because that's how popular Seinfeld was. And I was thin enough still to kind of pull off a decent Kramer. And I blew my hair out, and I had the wacky clothes, and I wish I had that picture. I can't find it. that would probably be up here if I had it, because I love that picture. What else? Uh, I guess I could talk about the marriage and the wedding and leading up to that. We this is also, by the way, where I started like this kind of litany of crappy jobs. So I told you I graduated at the end of '93. I um, I had quit the theater, gone to Europe, come back, worked for a place called Alpha Graphics. Couldn't do that anymore. Didn't like it. And then around January of '94, I worked in a liquor store, in a really crappy liquor store on First and Broadway in Denver, which doesn't sound bad now, but in 1994, First and Broadway was kind of crappy. And it was just, that's something I did. I worked for a very racist Korean grocer, or a Korean liquor store owner. Um, that could be embarrassing at times. We had a guy named Brian Williams. He has a whole famous story about how he died. If you ever want to follow it, he changed his name to Bison Dele, but he played for the Nuggets back then, back in '94, and he came in and he had like a handler with him, like a lot of guys that young. 'Cause he was new to the league. He was only 24, I think, at that time, so it was like his first or second year in the league. And he came into our liquor store, wanted to buy three bottles. He wanted total $200, and he had, like I said, he had a handler with him, and I think they do that in the NBA a lot with the young guys. They help them control their money and their habits. And the guy came in, and neither of them had IDs. And and Mr. Kim's in the corner, and I'm having to deal with these guys, and he's like, "UID," and I'm like, "He plays on the Nuggets. He's definitely over 21. I don't need the ID." He's like, "UID now," and I was like, and I look at him and shrug and just like, "Sorry," and they're both looking at him like, "What a dick." And I go, "They're buying $200 worth of liquor. What are you doing?" And he's just like, "ID." And it was funny because there were a couple of people behind him and they recognized him. One guy's like holding a six pack waiting for them. And he goes, "Oh man, that's Brian Williams. He went to the University of Arizona. He's 24 years old. He gets 15.3 rebounds." He just started rattling off his stats like he was him. It was pretty funny. But they had to leave, and it was really stupid. That's my kind of what I remember about. I only worked there about 6 months. Too many homeless people, too many angry drunks. I just didn't like that, and so the next job I went for the latter half of '94 was I worked in a child care center. I was the lead teacher of the school-aged group, and that was okay, except it was really underfunded and understaffed, so I got out of there at the end of '94. And in '95, I worked at a place called Light Bulb Supply, and I delivered light bulbs for about a year and a half until we left for Cleveland right after we got married in August of '96. I should probably just talk more about Dylan and how we met. It was kind of funny. We met, she started working at the movie theater back in '92, and in '93 we started dating right before I went to Europe. And it was kind of funny. She's always very young looking. She's only 8 months younger than me. But when she went to there was a club right by our theater, and we would go to the club sometimes and just come back to the theater and say hi to the cashier or some of the people that were on staff. And she did that one night, and I was managing that night. She comes over all sweaty. I go, "Were you at the club over there?" She's like, "Yeah." I go, "You're 21?" She's like, "I'm 24. Sorry, Dylan. Sorry. Now she'd love for me to call her 24, I imagine. But yeah, but then we started talking. We found out we had a lot of common. I found out she's an extremely empathetic, kind person. And we moved on. We forged a relationship. Bought a car back in '95, I believe, or '94. That was kind of nice, and she was making good money. She was working in an environmental consulting firm. It's kind of cool where she worked. She worked at the top of the. Those of you in Denver are familiar with it, but those of you not from Denver probably have no idea. It's called the Cash Register Building because it looks like a cash register, and it was the central bank main corporate offices were at the bottom of it. But at the top, it curves like an old school cash register, and she was on the 48th floor. It was cool. It was like her ceiling or her wall was right where it started to curve. And back then, there was also a movement back in the mid '90s to the peregrine falcon was endangered, and so somebody had a pretty good idea to have nesting sites for these peregrine falcons up on these skyscrapers because they don't mind that, and they also help control the pigeon population. It was a pretty ingenious idea, and she had a nest right by her window. We'd see them come flying in. It was really cool. let's see what else I got. Like I said, we went to the Grand Canyon. That was pretty cool. Liked it down there. It was really cool because it snowed. It snowed like an inch, so everything was layered in reds and whites and greens. It was really neat to go down there. We were in there in April of '95, I believe. So that was pretty cool. That's most of it. A lot of what we did was just, this is, I'm sure you're all familiar with this. When you're with a significant other person, you just stay home a lot and just start getting to know each other. Just watching TV and talking and living together, you get to know a person really quickly. We found out we were right for each other, and in '96 we got married. The place we got married was really cool. It's in the mountains. It's called Chief Hosa, and that was pretty cool. I honestly don't remember too much about the wedding. We had about 100 people. We had some music issues, but it was kind of a blur. We did have a couple people steal the show. One of my friends decided to wear lederhosen. I don't know why. One of her friends was from Scotland because she had been an exchange student there in '92, and he decided to show up in a full kilt and all the other stuff that Scots wear. And I was like, really? Guys stealing the show at a wedding? And girls I could see trying to do that, but it was a couple guys doing it. That was weird. Outside of that, it was great, though. And then, like I said, we moved to Cleveland in '96. She continued her career with the environmental consulting firm because I had a branch in Cleveland. She got a promotion and a raise. She always made more money than me, always. And so that was a big help too. There were times I wasn't doing very well, and she was like the backbone of the family. When we actually became a nuclear family in 1998, which I'll talk about tomorrow night. Where those are solid Cleveland years. We were there in '96 into 2000. Dante's born in '98. I'll cover some of that stuff tomorrow night because I met some interesting characters while I was in Cleveland. And so I look forward to talking about them tomorrow night. Thanks, you guys. I don't know if this was the most exciting, excuse me, if this was the most exciting chapter tonight, chapter 10. But, maybe this is like a palate cleanser for tomorrow night because we had some adventures in Cleveland. Like I said, some unusual people. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Love you all. Hope you're staying safe. And chapter 10 was brought to you by Barrett's Ginger Beer. All right. So, yeah. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.